Asylum is under attack. The latest policy that this administration has enacted will effectively end asylum at our southern border. Now when you show up, they ask you one question. Have you ever entered the United States through another country? If you have, you're automatically denied asylum. There's not a process. You're just simply denied because you went through another country, which everyone except for Mexicans has to do in order to reach the southern border. And the Supreme Court has allowed it to go into effect, at least temporarily. We're continuing to challenge it, but for the moment, asylum is effectively dead.
So what's so wrong with having to apply for asylum in countries that you are passing through anyway?
Well, the reality is Mexico and Guatemala are not safe places to apply for asylum, and on top of that, they do not have functioning asylum process. Guatemala has only a handful of asylum officers. If we were to send thousands of people there to seek asylum, it would be completely untenable. And moreover, while you're waiting for asylum, you'd be picked off by cartels. People are sitting ducks, especially families with little children. The administration knows full well that people can't seek asylum in those countries. I think ultimately that's the long game for the administration, is essentially to eliminate Central Americans from coming to this country.
How else is the administration attacking asylum?
The other really pernicious policy that the administration has enacted is, even if they don't automatically deny you asylum, they make you wait for your asylum hearing in Mexico. People say, well, why shouldn't they wait in Mexico? Because it is so dangerous in Mexico. These families cannot leave their shelters, and the shelters are squalid. People sleeping on top of each other, health risks, little kids being stuffed into these rooms. If they leave, they're kidnapped, they're sex trafficked, they're robbed. It is horrendous, and anybody who's been there knows that these families will ultimately have to give up. It's just too dangerous for them to stay, and I think that's what the administration wants.
So who's the most affected by the attacks on asylum?
So the asylum seekers come from all different countries, but right now it's Central Americans who most need our help, and they're fleeing a variety of dangers. Some are fleeing domestic violence, they are fleeing unbelievable gang violence, sometimes they're fleeing government persecution. The LGBT community is under attack in these countries. It's a variety of things, and for a family with little children, it's virtually impossible to stay out of danger.
Do people have a right to claim asylum?
Congress has enacted laws that have been in place for 40 years that allow someone who is fleeing danger to apply for protection in this country. Congress has recognized that people fleeing will not always have time to wait for a visa, will not be able to gather their papers. They will have to escape any way they can. That is the history of asylum. This administration has done an end run around the laws Congress has enacted. So ultimately, this is a separation of powers problem where the president is simply ignoring what Congress has done.
So what can we do?
A lot. Only so much can be done through the courts. The first thing I would say is people should not dismiss the role of public outrage. When there was public outrage over family separation, outrage that transcended the Democrat-Republican lines, the administration backed down. It was the first time they had ever backed down on a domestic policy issue. People can get out there and protest and let it be known we cannot normalize the attack on immigrants.